Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid have always been an imperfect fit on offense. It has worked to great effect, but in playoff situations and individually for Ben Simmons, I can't think of a better situation for him than the Golden State Warriors if that were to happen at some point in the coming months. What would you think about them trading for Ben Simmons? Like, let's just say at some point the Warriors give up on the dream of Dame or Beal and they're willing to, talk about some younger players. And let's just say it's, some combination of two young guys, some future picks, salary, whatever the deal is. But on paper, what do you think about a team for the Golden State Warriors that would have Ben Simmons and Draymond Green on it? You get the playmaking from two bigger guys. Simmons and Curry would be dynamic. Your spacing would hurt. But what do you think about that combination if they were to land him?
If I could go get Ben Simmons and I'm Golden State, I would go get Ben Simmons. If I don't have to give up Curry, Clay, or Dre in order to get that, I would 100% go do that. Now, the problem is one of their best assets is Wiseman, and it's a team that's got Joel Embiid, and now they just signed Andre Drummond. For what reason, I don't really know, but whatever.
That combination, after all the trolling they've done with each other over the years, is going to be hilarious.
It's just bizarre.
Yeah, I don't love it.
I don't
like it.
understand it.
I can't imagine Joel Embiid likes it too much either. Even if he says all the right things to the media, I'm sure in the back of his mind, he's thinking all the things that he said before about Drummond, like this clown, this guy can't, he can never stop me. He can't stop anybody. I'm sure he's thinking those things, even if he's not saying it publicly. And even if everything looks fine, I can't imagine he's happy. I just
bizarre.
Can't. I would be shocked if Joel Embiid's like, yeah, Andre Drummond, I'm fired up.
But to your answer about to answer your question about Ben Simmons, yes, I would go get Ben Simmons, and I would say that virtually about any team because I am one of those. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I understand what Ben Simmons looked like in the playoffs. I also understand that there was a lot of pressure on Ben Simmons to be much better than he was. Ben Simmons, we must recall, when they got knocked out by the Kawhi shot in the corner, the narrative about that Sixer season and the way it all ended was not about Ben Simmons the way it was this time around. The spotlight was on him much brighter, and in my opinion, it's because he's flanked by Matisse Thybulle and Seth Curry and Danny Green and there's a greater expectation for him to be more offensively potent. Jimmy Butler took that away. You didn't notice as much because Jimmy Butler was the guy, right? And I do think if you were to put him next to a real scorer, I think you could get the same results, right? Like, he can't be one of the guys that you really do need to count on, and that it's such a huge deal that he's doing everything else but scoring. Now, hopefully he develops as time goes on, but I think it is exposed so much more when he's not flanked by like a true scorer. But when you tell me that you'd be flanked by Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, I mean, I think that'd be great.
I think
he does everything else well. Like he does, not well. He's great. He is a great defender. He is a great rebounder. He is a great playmaker. He ain't a scorer, as we know.
And I think it can work in the sense that the Warriors don't always play with four shooters and Draymond at the five. Right. Oftentimes they're playing with Draymond, and another big, whether it's Looney or Wiseman now, or in the past, whether it was Bogut or David West, guys who could maybe shoot some mid-range jumpers, David Lee, but weren't necessarily three-point shooters. With Simmons in a Green front court, if you did run that, your defense would have unbelievable versatility because Green can defend those bigger guys. They can both switch on defense. And then on offense, they're the two best, screening outlets in the league in the sense that either of them could be a screener for Stephen Curry, who's inevitably going to get trapped and has one of those guys he can dump it off to. And Green could space the floor to three. Simmons, who we'll see what happens with his training this offseason. Maybe there's improvement. There probably won't be. But, having Simmons and Green on the court, it can work. It can work.
He would fall back into that role that he was with Philly where he was pretty clear. Butler was the guy.
Yes, and that's a good thing. It's
and
a secondary
Embiid was the
role.
second guy, and Ben's one of the others.
And also, it would also just provide another playmaking presence on the team to help alleviate the pressure off of Steph to have to bring the ball up the court all the time to initiate the offense. You could essentially, with Ben Simmons, like one of the things like with Philly, Ben Simmons has been awesome for the Sixers in the sense that he became a great defender, second in defensive player of the year voting, all defense, unbelievable playmaking, creates open shots for his teammates. But playing with Joel Embiid has hurt him in the sense of what his half-court value can be. And this is coming from somebody who's been, very critical of Ben Simmons since before the draft. Ben Simmons, can you imagine Ben Simmons in the Bam Adebayo role where he's like at the elbows facilitating for his teammates even more often than he already does? Can you imagine him in the Draymond Green role where he's screening and rolling to the rim, bringing the ball up the floor with all these shooters around him? Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid have always been an imperfect fit on offense. It has worked to great effect, but in playoff situations and individually for Ben Simmons, I can't think of a better situation for him than the Golden State Warriors if that were to happen at some point in the coming months. So I'd go for it too, depending on the price.